So, I got something super cool for you today on QuickSpeak English. We're going to dive into something that I think everyone learning English really needs to know about.
Oh my goodness, yes. And I'm actually so excited about this episode because, we're talking about slang words today. Like, these are the expressions that really make you sound natural when you're speaking English.
Um, I've noticed that a lot of our listeners struggle with understanding what people mean when they use these casual expressions. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. And and that's exactly why I wanted to cover this topic because, textbook English is one thing, but these slang words, they're what people actually use in like real conversations every single day.
So today we're going to look at uh 10 really useful slang words that'll help you sound more like a native speaker. Peter, you've got some pretty interesting ones lined up, right?
Oh yeah, totally. And and I've picked ones that are like super current and actually used by people, Not those outdated expressions you might find in some old textbooks. Trust me, these are the real deal.
Okay, let's start with probably the most common one that I hear everywhere. What's the deal with the word cool?
Oh man, cool is like such a versatile word. And and it's probably one of the most like enduring slang words we have. It's been around for decades and it's still totally relevant today.
Um, I've definitely heard it used in different ways. Like sometimes it seems to mean different things.
Exactly. Exactly. So, like first and foremost, cool means something is good or awesome. Like if someone shows you their new phone, you might say, "Oh, that's cool." But and and this is interesting, it can also mean you're okay with something or you agree. Like if someone suggests getting coffee, you might just say cool to mean, "Yes, I'm down for that."
So it's basically a way to show approval.
Yes, totally. And there's more. You can even use it to describe someone's personality. Like she's really cool means someone's relaxed, easygoing, and just pleasant to be around.
Um, what about this other word I keep hearing? Lit?
Oh my goodness. Lit is such a fun one. So, like, it basically means something is amazing or exciting. And and it's especially used when talking about parties or events. Like that concert was absolutely lit. But it's evolved to describe anything that's really exciting or excellent.
And is it something you can use in any situation?
Well, and this is important. Lit is definitely more casual than cool. Like you wouldn't really use it in a professional setting or with people you don't know well. It's more for like friends and social situations. And and it's especially popular with younger people. You know what I mean?
Um, I've been hearing this word slay everywhere lately. What's that all about?
Oh my goodness. Slay is like such a powerful one. And and it's really blown up in the past few years. It basically means to do something exceptionally well or to absolutely crush it at something.
So it's kind of like succeeding in something?
Yes, exactly. And and the thing is, it's way more than just succeeding. Like when someone slays, they're not just doing well, they're like absolutely dominating. You know what I mean? Like if someone walks into a room looking amazing, you might say you're slaying or just slay.
Um, I've noticed people using it a lot on social media.
Oh, totally. Totally. And and that's actually where it really took off. It started in drag culture and then became huge on social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Now it's just everywhere.
What about this other phrase I keep hearing, cap or no cap?
Right. So cap is like really interesting because it's basically another way of saying something is a lie or not true. And and no cap means the exact opposite, like you're being completely honest. You know what I mean?
So if someone says no cap, they're being truthful?
Exactly. Exactly. Like if I say this is the best podcast ever, no cap, I'm saying like I'm being totally honest about it. And and what's really cool is how it's become such a natural part of how young people talk. It's like their way of emphasizing they're being real with you.
Is it something you'd use in formal situations?
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Like this is very much casual slang and you'd really only use it with friends or in super informal situations. You know what I mean? It's the kind of thing you'd say on social media or when you're just hanging out.
Let's talk about the word vibe. I hear it everywhere. What exactly does it mean?
Oh, vibe is like such a versatile word. And and it's really interesting because it started out as short for vibration. But now it's evolved into something so much more than that.
So, how do people use it today?
Right. So basically, a vibe is like the overall feeling or atmosphere of something. And and you can use it as both a noun and a verb. Like you might say, this cafe has such a good vibe, or I'm totally vibing with this music. You know what I mean?
Um, and what about when someone says they're checking someone's vibe?
That's actually a really good example. When you're checking someone's vibe, you're like trying to get a sense of their energy and their personality, you know? It's about seeing if you connect with them on that kind of intuitive level.
Now, what about tea? That's definitely not about the drink, right?
Oh my goodness. Definitely not. The tea is like all about gossip and drama and juicy information, you know what I mean? When someone says spill the tea, they're basically asking you to share all the dramatic details about something.
So it's specifically about sharing secrets.
Well, not always secrets exactly. Like the tea can be any kind of interesting information or drama that's going on. And and what's really fascinating is how it's become this whole thing where people will say things like that's the tea to mean like that's the truth or this tea is hot when the gossip is particularly juicy, you know?
When did people start using it this way?
So the term actually comes from Dragon Ball culture and it's been around since like the 1990s, but it really blew up with social media and now everyone's using it to share their daily drama and updates. You know what I mean? It's like become this totally mainstream way of talking about gossip or sharing news with friends.
Um, I've been hearing people say bet a lot lately. What's that all about?
Oh, this is like such a cool one. And and it's actually super interesting because bet has totally evolved from its original meaning, you know? Like it's not about gambling at all anymore,
So, what does it mean now?
right? So basically, bet is like a way of saying okay or sure or even you're on. And and what's really cool is how versatile it is. You know what I mean? Like if someone asks if you want to grab coffee, you can just say bet, and that means you're totally down for it.
Um, does it always have to be a positive response?
That's actually a really good question. It's almost always positive and it's usually pretty enthusiastic too. Like it's more than just saying yes, it's like saying absolutely or 100%. You know what I mean?
And what about the word extra? I hear that one a lot too.
Oh my goodness. Extra is like such a fun one. It's basically when someone is doing the absolute most, you know? Like they're being over the top or dramatic about something in a way that's kind of unnecessary.
Can you give some examples of being extra?
Of course. So, like, if someone shows up to a casual coffee date in a full ball gown, that's being extra. Or if someone writes a 10-page essay when the assignment only asked for 1 page, they're being totally extra. And sometimes it can be a good thing, like when people say, "I'm feeling extra today." It means they're just in that mood to go all out, you know what I mean?
Is it usually meant as criticism?
Not necessarily, like it can definitely be playful and sometimes even a compliment. It really depends on the context and how you say it, you know? Sometimes being extra is exactly what the situation needs, even if it's a bit over the top.
Um, these last two words I've been hearing everywhere lately, ghost and sus. What's the deal with those?
Oh my goodness. These are like super common ones right now. And and they're both really interesting because they've totally taken on new meanings in modern slang, you know what I mean?
Let's start with ghost. What exactly does that mean?
Right. So, ghosting is like when someone just completely disappears from communication. Like they stop responding to texts, calls, messages, everything. And and what makes it really interesting is that it's become such a common thing in the digital age that we needed a specific word for it, you know?
So it's always about texting and social media?
Not always. Like it can happen in real life situations too. Someone might ghost a friend by stopping showing up to hangouts or even ghost their job by just not showing up one day. But it's definitely most common in digital communication. You know what I mean?
And what about sus? I hear that one everywhere.
Oh, sus is like such an interesting one because it's basically just short for suspicious, but it's taken on this whole life of its own. And and it really exploded in popularity because of this game called Among Us, you know?
So how do people use it?
It's super versatile. Like you can use it when someone's behavior seems weird or questionable. So if your friend is being really secretive about their plans, you might say they're acting sus. And and it's not always serious. People often use it in a playful way, you know what I mean? Like if someone's smiling too much, you might be like, "You're looking kind of sus right now."
Um, Do people only use it for people's behavior?
Second paragraph in the dialogue.
In this episode of QuickSpeak English, we're diving headfirst into the wonderfully weird world of slang. I've got something super cool for you, Lily. 10 useful slang words that'll make you sound like a native speaker in no time. At least that's the goal, right?
Oh, I'm so excited. Slang, it's like the lifeblood of any language. You know, it's so dynamic and it changes all the time and I just really, really love exploring it. This is going to be awesome.
Absolutely. So, what's the first word you want to hit us with? I'm really curious.
Okay, so first up, we've got lit. It's like incredibly popular, especially amongst younger people. It means something's amazing, fantastic, really exciting. You know, like a really, really great party might be described as lit, and it's used extensively online and in casual conversation. It's everywhere, really.
A lit, I've heard that one before, but I never really understood the full meaning, Thanks for clarifying. What's next?
Okay, so next we have low key. It's kind of like, it means something subtle or not overtly obvious. You could say, I low key like him, meaning you have a secret crush, or, you're not shouting it from the rooftops. It adds a layer of nuance to your expression. It's like a super useful way to add a little bit of mystery. Yeah?
Oh, I get it. That's so clever. So it's like a secret, sort of? That's really helpful. What's another one?
Right. Next up, we have savage. It's used to describe someone who's incredibly witty or maybe even a little ruthless, but in a cool and impressive way. Someone who's quick-witted, who can deliver a really sharp comeback. That's savage. And it can also mean someone who's just really bold, and a very versatile word. And people use it all the time.
Wow, savage. That's a strong one. I like it. Okay, and what next? I'm really into this.
Okay, so the next one is cray-cray. It's a slang term for crazy or insane, but it's used in a playful way often. You might say that movie was cray-cray, meaning it was wildly unpredictable, exciting, or just plain bonkers, and it has a really fun, informal feel to it. It's really, really catchy.
Cray-cray, I see. So it's not necessarily a bad kind of crazy, right? More like excitingly crazy?
Exactly. It's got positive connotations most of the time, like a wild party might be described as cray-cray.
Okay, I'm getting this. What's next on your list of wonderfully weird words?
All right, so next we have salty. This one means someone's angry or bitter, usually about something unfair. If someone's feeling salty, it means they're a bit grumpy and resentful. It's a really colorful way to describe negative emotions, and people use it all the time, especially online.
Salty. I get it. When someone's feeling salty, they're kind of not in a good mood, right?
Yeah, precisely. It's they're a bit grumpy and maybe a little sour. It's a descriptive word.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get a feel for this slang thing. What's next on the menu?
Okay, so next is sus. This is short for suspicious. And it's very popular in online gaming communities, but it's spreading to more general use as well. If something seems shady or if someone's acting strangely, you might say that's sus. It's short, sweet, and to the point, and it just really works well.
Okay. That's easy to remember. I think I can use that one. What's coming up? My brain is buzzing with new vocabulary.
Good, because next we have bougie. This one's fun. It's slang for bourgeois, but in a playful way. It means someone's really fancy or very high class or pretentious even. You might describe an expensive restaurant as bougie, or someone who's, always showing off their wealth. It's a fun way to say someone's a bit flashy. It's pretty useful, really.
A bougie. That's a great one. I think I can use that one too. It really paints a picture. Okay, 2 more to go.
Yep, 2 more. Next up, we have vibe. It's such a versatile word. It refers to the general atmosphere or feeling of a place or situation. If you say, the vibe here is really chill, it means the atmosphere is relaxed and friendly, Or if you say, I don't like the vibe, it means you don't feel comfortable or positive about the situation. It's really useful to understand the context, and it helps so much.
The vibe, right? The general feeling. I see. So easy. Okay, and the very last one. What's your ultimate slang word for today?
And finally, Slay. It means to do something exceptionally well or to just absolutely excel. It's often used to describe impressive performances, a great outfit, or a really strong accomplishment. Like if someone gives a brilliant presentation, you might say, they totally slayed it. And it can also be used to describe someone who's just incredibly confident and stylish. It's like a really, really positive word, and I love it.
Slay. I love that one. That's powerful. So we've just covered 10 amazing slang words. Wow, that was incredibly helpful, Lily. You really slayed this episode. I mean, it was just it was fantastic.
Ah, thanks. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And you know, slang's always evolving, so there's always more to learn. But these 10 will definitely give you a head start in sounding like a native speaker, right? Like it's like a huge step, you know?
Absolutely. So, thanks for tuning in to QuickSpeak English, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode. And remember, stay lit, stay savage, well, you get the idea.
Bye, everyone. And remember to keep your vibes chill, but don't be too salty if things get a little sus. And most importantly, slay.